So this is a video for, excuse me, I'm talking too much, lash and brow tint. So the first thing we're gonna do when we arrive to work is wash our hands. So we're gonna wash our hands under the water with liquid hand soap. We're gonna rub our palms together down to the wrists. We're gonna wash the back of our hands down to our wrists. We are gonna wash our fingers. We are gonna wash the backs of our fingers. We're gonna wash our fingertips and nails. We're gonna wash between our fingers. We're gonna wash between our fingers and our thumbs. We're gonna wash our thumbs and we're gonna wash our wrists. We're gonna do all of our interlacing wash for at least 20 to 30 seconds. We're gonna fully rinse our hands under the water, and then we're gonna get paper towels, turn the water off, thoroughly dry our hands, discard the paper towels, and then in the trash. Once you've done all of that, you will hand sanitize with 70% ethyl alcohol. And then you have to prepare your workstation for your client's arrival. Let's talk about what we need to do for that. So what we're gonna do to get our workstation ready, we're gonna disinfect our workstation. Bed and equipment using a disinfectant wipe following manufacturer's instructions. We will check the equipment to ensure that all devices are in safe working order and plugged into a working receptacle. We'll gather clean supplies needed for the lash and brow tint service, storing in a clean closed container. We will dispense products needed for the service according to the client's desired shade for brows and lashes. We'll mix according to manufacturer's directions. We will prepare disposable portion cups for each product with a portion of product by opening the top of the container and ensuring the tip of the nozzle does not come into contact with the disposable portion cup tray. Or you can remove the product with a disinfected or clean single-use spatula, close the lid to the product, and set the portion cup or tray on the tray. You're gonna drape your facial bed using one fitted sheet, one flat sheet, and 3 towels. You will place clean laundered sheets down on a disinfected facial bed, placing a towel horizontally at the head of the bed. You'll lay a hair net and a headband on top of the first towel, along with a rolled towel to support the head and neck of the client. Save the 3rd towel to lay across the client's décolleté. You could use a disposable table paper to drape the bed. So we've set up our tray as well. Let's go over that after we got all that ready. What we need for service for brow and lash tinting. So we've got our cotton rounds with our makeup remover to clean eyes and brows. And then we have that protective barrier cream that we're going to put around the brows under the eyes. We have our eye pads to put underneath the eyes. We have our formula that we're going to mix together, which is the tint. We have disposable applicators, disposable mascara wand applicators for the lashes. We have gloves, disposable gloves. We have paper towels. We are ready to go. Client is going to arrive, so we need to do our meet and greet with the client and client consultation. So we're going to go and meet our client, and we are going to meet her with clean hands. We will be washing our hands again, but we always meet our clients with clean hands. So we are, we are meeting our client and escorting them to the work area. We will determine the client's preferences. We will assess the client's needs. We will assess the client's skin by performing a visual skin analysis to ensure that there is no inflamed, infected, broken, raised, or swollen skin in the area to be worked on, or an open wound or sore in the area to be worked on, infection or infestation to prevent from safely performing the service. We will assess the client's consultation form for any medications and products that they might have used within the last 72 hours. We'll consult on any known allergies. We'll consult with client on any facial surgeries within the last 3 months and if the client is under a physician's care. We'll assess if the client is prone to cold sores or fever blisters. We'll assess if the client has used exfoliating or lightening agents within the last 72 hours, like alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids, hydroquinone, etc. We'll assess facial injections within the last 3 weeks, like Botox or hyaluronic fillers. If the client is free from all of the above contraindications, we will move on to the service, and she's fine. So we're going to get her set up before we wash our hands. So this client does not need to disrobe for this service. We will get her comfortable on the bed that has the paper drape, and we are going to put that rolled towel underneath her neck for comfort. We're definitely going to put on her a headband so we can get the hair out of the way of the brow and the lashes. We'll make sure all the hair stays out of the way that we're not working on. And we're going to cover up her clothing with a drape. Get her nice and cozy. We don't want any of the dye to come on her skin or her clothes, so we're going to make sure that she is completely covered and cozy before we get ready for the service, which requires gloves. So what we're going to do is wash our hands at this point. So we're going to go ahead and wet our hands and wash them with that liquid hand soap. We're going to wash our hands down to our wrists. We're going to wash the back of our hands down to our wrists. We're going to wash our fingers. We are going to wash the backs of our fingers. We are going to wash between our fingers. We're going to wash between the fingers and the thumbs. We're going to wash our fingertips and nails. We are going to wash our thumbs. We are going to wash our wrists, and we are going to wash thoroughly for a good 20 to 30 seconds minimum. Then thoroughly rinsing those hands off under the water. Then you'll find disposable paper towels. Grab that, turn your water off with a paper towel hand. Thoroughly dry the hands. Toss the paper towels. Reach for your 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer, and then you're going to sanitize your hands. And you're going to do that until your hands are completely dry, because you have to put disposable gloves on, and it's really hard to put gloves on wet hands, so make sure they're dry first. And you've already figured out with your client like her style of brow, her style of lash, so we're going to put our gloves on. So the first thing that we have to do before we even start the service for her lashes and her brows, or remove any makeup that she may have on currently on her lashes or brows, moisturizers, all those things. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and come in, and we're going to lay our pads on her eyes. Makeup remover. And then we're going to remove her brow makeup. And we're going to remove her brow color or makeup that she might have on her brow. And then we're going to dry it off. And now we're going to take makeup off the eyes. If you need to do this a couple times, feel free. Just make sure you're getting it all off. We're going to dry it thoroughly. Now we're going to apply that protective cream with gloved hands. Of course, we're going to scoop out some and close the container, and then throw away the container that the applicator that we're using. So we're going to make sure that we go around the brow first. So we're just taking our protective cream, and we're going to apply it around the brow. On the brow. And I should have done this before, but if you need to, you could have brushed the client's brow hair like in the direction of the growth before you put your cream on, but you're going to be fine. You just get your cream on there. Toss that. And then we are going to also place that protective cream directly under the eye area. Obviously, I've told my client to keep her eyes shut, so we're going to be really careful here, and we're going to apply a little bit underneath, telling her to keep her eyes closed. And then we're going to apply our protective pads under her eyes. So let's go ahead and do that. Trying to get it up nice and close with her closed eyes. Nice. And then I'm going to mix up her tint, which actually on my next video, I think I'm going to mix up her tint before I start cleaning her off. And so basically what I'm doing with the mix here is that I'm going to take my 3/4 of an inch of my color cream, and I'm going to drop in 2 to 4 drops of developer. So drop, 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 drop. There we go. And then I'm going to mix it all together. Mixy, 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 mix. And I'm letting that process here. So I'm mixing it up. Mix, 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 mix. And it's processed. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to work with the lashes first, because the lash tint stays on longer than the brow tint. So I didn't also say that on my tray I would have a timer, so we're going to pretend like I'm setting a timer in a minute. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to apply my lash tint. So I'm going to take my lash tint applicator, disposable of course, and I'm going to take the time to get my lash tint on. The first thing I'm going to do is the bottom lashes always, and both of them, before I move to the top lashes so she can then close her eyes. So I'm going to quickly work on the bottom ones. Swish, 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 swish. Swish, 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 swish. Now she can close her eyes and I can work on the top. So I'm throwing that away and I'm getting some tint for my top lashes. Now if I had the real on here, this would not move. These pads would not move. They would be adhering to the skin. So I'm applying my tint and getting a new applicator. I'm going to apply the other side. And I'm going to set my timer for these lashes, which is 10 minutes. Setting a 10-minute timer now. Now, mind you, brows are only going to take 3 minutes, so it's going to be all part of this 10-minute plan. And of course, for the video's sake, we are not going to take 10 minutes. We're not really timing it because we're making a video, but we'll pretend like our 10-minute timer went off at this point. And so what you're going to want to do is your alarm went off, and you're going to want to take off the eye pads and discard them, and then you're going to remove the lash tint. So we're going to take off the pads and we're going to toss them, and then we're going to come and get some water. And we are going to get this lash tint off. You gotta keep working on it so you get all of your lash tint off 3 times at least. Sometimes you might need more. more time. Really got to make sure you get it all off. That one's really looking good here. So I'm going to be more focused this time on the other side. Dry it off. Okay. And they look great. Just the shade you were going for. So now we need to move on. We've got to do our brow tint. So we're going to dip our applicator into the tint and carefully apply it to the brows in the direction of the hair growth and then the opposite direction, evenly coating the hair, ensuring it not to get in their eyes, of course. And then we're going to process that according to manufacturer's directions, just like we did with our lashes. So we're going to apply it, and we're going to apply it in the direction of the hair growth first before we go the other way. And the other one, we're going to get a new applicator here. Excellent. And these manufacturers' directions say that it needs to process for 3 minutes. That's all. So we have waited our 3 minutes, and we are going to carefully remove our tint. Once again, making sure that we remove all of the product. Again. Final time. And we will, all of those, your cotton rounds were discarded. So what we are doing now is we assess, looks gorgeous, so we're going to show her how amazing she looks. So now she can open those eyes, she can see her tint, she can see her brows, she's super impressed. And so at this point, we're going to let her, we're going to take off her headband, we're going to let her take the drape, and then we are going to remove our gloves, disposable gloves, so that we can discuss her maintenance and aftercare. So let's discard our disposable gloves. A bit challenging apparently with all this hand sanitizer. And let's talk about follow-up. So what we're going to do is discuss maintenance and aftercare and get her checked out and on her way. Tell her how often. Maybe get her set up for her follow-up appointment when she wants to get it done again. And then we need to go clean up our workstation because we have a client coming in. So we are going to toss all of our single-use items like disposable gloves, if you have any more cotton rounds, disposable applicators, etc. All the little tossable containers that you're mixing stuff with. You will place implements that you used, if any, in a closed container labeled to be disinfected. You'll place cape, towels, headband, anything like that in a closed container until laundered, and then you're going to clean and disinfect your work area. You're going to identify proper cleaning agent and read manufacturer's directions. Follow manufacturer's directions for mixing and usage. Wipe down your workstation and area with cleaning solution to remove debris. You'll identify a disinfectant that is bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal, EPA approved for use in a salon setting. You will follow manufacturer's directions for mixing and or using appropriate aerosol disinfectant. You'll disinfect electrical equipment and store it in a clean area separate from other implements. And then in order to complete your service, you want to make sure that you do that final hand wash. So what you want to do is wet your hands under the water, and then you're going to find the liquid hand soap. You're going to rub those hands together down to the wrist. You're going to wash the back of your hands down to the wrists. You will wash your fingers, and you will wash the backs of your fingers, of course. Fingertips and nails. You're going to wash between your fingers. You're going to wash between your fingers and your thumbs. You will wash your thumbs. You will wash your wrists. And you're going to do your washing, interlocking, all of those movements, a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. And then you're going to identify either a clean towel or disposable paper towels. Grab them and then use that hand to turn off the water. Completely dry your hands off and either throw away the disposable paper towels or put the wet towel into the laundered closed container. And then get your hand sanitizer, 70% ethyl alcohol, of course, to finish up this hand wash. And you will use your hand sanitizer and let everything dry down. You will be able to then move on to your next service. So this concludes your video for lash and brow tinting.